I'm telling you, special guest of mine, that we are live. Greetings. Greetings, everyone. It's Uncle Vigilante. You can call me Uncle V. Hold on. So we make sure that this isn't blowing us out. It's not. So that's good. Excuse me. I took a shower and I was getting all nice and handsome for y'all. And then I get here and I'm looking and I'm like, damn, I didn't shave today. So I'm sorry about that. I usually shave. I have a very special guest. Well, usually tonight, it's Tuesday night. I'm the special guest on the Fakeologist show. And then I'm just going to live stream it from to my show as well, because guess what? Technology allows us to dual stream. But unfortunately, my friend Ab sent me some pictures. There's some emergency vehicles in between him and his house. And so he said that it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to make it back to my studio. So sorry about that. We'll catch up with Ab next week. But we were both going to interview a special guest tonight anyway. And it was really going to be kind of a cool introduction for his audience that likely isn't really into crypto, but we might be able, our hopes was with the guest that I have tonight, as you can see by the title, it says, what's better than Uncle V and jam? Peanut butter and jam? Hell no, Uncle V and jam. Who is jam? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to guess. And those of you who have ears to hear are going to know exactly who Jam is. Jam, tell me a little bit about what you and your wife are doing this past month.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, first of all, Uncle V. I appreciate it, and it's great to be here. So over the last month, or really over the last 4 to 5 months, I've been lucky enough to be backpacking around South America. So at the moment, we've been traveling throughout Colombia, Peru, and currently now, as I'm sure a few people that are tuned into the Twitter spaces will be aware of, is we're in Argentina at the moment.
Wow. Yes, indeed. So this is the Jam. You know him from Twitter spaces. You know him. Actually, let me just share my screen here. Let's go over to So one thing about a community, a crypto community, is that all of us bring our own talents to the table. I have a face for radio, and so I violate that and I go on air, but that otherwise it'd be really boring, because all I do is interview thumbnails from everyone. But Jam has this amazing voice, and you are from the UK, is that right, Jam, or is it Australia? I always screw it up.
Yeah, I'm originally from the UK. Yeah, I live in London, but I'm from Oxford originally.
Oh, okay. And sorry, that probably is offensive to you or the Australians.
No, I couldn't care less personally, but if the Australians take that offensively, then that's their problem.
Well, let's go here, and on Twitter, you go by epic_hodler. And I know YouTube, okay, and that's kind of where my high watermark is. So you start talking to me about, I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying, Uncle V, you should get on BitChute and Library and blah 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 and all of this, and I'm like, guys, I know how to hit Zoom, I know how to hit go live, and it works. So, my cuppeth runneth over after that. So I didn't even know what Twitter Spaces was. And you took the initiative to launch it for our community. And would you tell us a little bit about both, your adventure on Twitter? Why are you Epic Hodler? How did you come to know and love the Epic community, as I know you do, and what motivated you to launch Twitter Spaces, whatever the hell that is? Educate us.
So it all started really in November 2021, actually. So it wasn't too long ago, but I actually went on my own pathway of starting a mental health NFT project. And
Okay.
I had created, 50 or so NFTs and produced them online with this kind of artificial intelligence software, this online software that was available. And I tried to create the NFTs in a way that were representative of people that had, bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, and things like this, things that are representative
Good for
of
you.
mental health that we have today.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that was that with the selling of those NFTs, I would dedicate or allocate a large proportion, the majority of the proportion, to a charity, and the charity of choice would be decided by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. And those that had been involved in the project in the early stages would be the ones that had that ability to vote in that DAO. And so in the early days of mental health NFTs, late last year, Twitter Spaces was really big. And so I found myself jumping on with multiple project leaders to discuss, to collaborate mental health topics and just openly discuss things about depression, anxiety, and the people that suffer from these types of mental health illnesses. And that's how I initially got into it. So with me having that experience back late last year, and obviously me being aware of Epic Cash, I noticed that we had a great presence in Twitter, we had a great presence in Telegram, but I noticed that apart from some brilliant tweets that we have here and there, we weren't making the most of this like untapped resource. And so as you're aware, Uncle, I proposed to the Twitter, the community in the Telegram groups and on Twitter, put out a vote and a poll on there and said, look, guys, would you be interested? Let me know. And it was a very, very clear conclusion to me that there was a lot of interest in us, starting this new media platform and on a weekly basis. And that's where we are today. So the community decide the topics of each episode. They get plenty of time to speak and offer their own opinions. And as you're well aware, it's representative of what Epic Cash is as a project. It's community driven, it's community focused. And so, we are where we are today. It's now hosted, I'm posted on Spotify, Amazon Audible, what else? YouTube, Apple Podcasts. So
yeah, everywhere. And just so I'm here at the page. And so everyone watching, please support Jam and go to epic_hodler and hit follow. I would, but I'm not logged in, and I should have done that before, but sorry. But please, let's get him over 100. Tonight, whoever's watching, go in epic_hodler and follow Jam so that you too can be in on the fun. All right, I'm going to stop that, and let me stop sharing that. So why don't you tell me a little bit then about the first one that you did. Were you nervous? Were you like, I got this? Was it like unconscious competence? This is just in my blood. Tell me a little bit about, putting on a show.
So, okay, if I'm being transparent, yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking before episode 1. It was even nerve-wracking putting out the polls, to be honest, because I had no idea if there was going to be, a material amount of interest. I had no idea. So the fact that the community showed so much interest in it gave me that confidence to proceed and go for it. So episode 1 was what makes Epic Cash stand out from every other project in the space today. And it got to, nearly 100 views, give or take. And to me, to massive projects out there, like, the top 10 that we know of, Cardano, Polkadot, Ethereum, etc., that will be tiny numbers. But for me, starting off, us being a relatively unknown project, and to get that amount of views was, to me, a quick success. Let's call it.
Great accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment to go from a standing start to 100 views. But wait, it gets better, doesn't it? Why don't you tell us about the subsequent ones and how many views you've gotten up to? on some of the shows.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So episode 2, we went into looking at the worldwide impact of Epic Cash, and I remember that episode very well because I was in one of my favorite places that I've ever visited in the world, in a place called Bariloche in Argentina. If you
Hmm.
haven't seen images, guys, whoever's tuning in, go and check it out. It's absolutely beautiful. But
Mm.
I also remember that because of how great that discussion was, and I think that was your first time you
How do
jumped
you
on.
spell it? How do you spell but whatever?
Bariloche.
All right. Oh my goodness. Let me just do a little. I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background, but
I certainly can. Yep.
say hello to Zammy, the giant sheepadoodle. Okay, so let's view all. And oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, it is. I think probably the most beautiful place I've ever been to, and I've been quite lucky in the places I've
Oh
visited.
my goodness gracious. Now, I am a yellow sticky guy. And so when I write something down, and this is Bariloche, Argentina, say hello to the people. I got to let my dog out the door so he can go see his mama who just came in. So say, do your thing.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm sure, guys, you can probably see from the images that, yeah, Bariloche is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. And so going back to where we were going with that conversation was obviously the episode that we did for episode 2 was what will the worldwide impact of Epic Cash look like in 5 years? And I remember a multitude of people joining on and just giving a huge amount of passion to where they see, Epic Cash going, where it's headed in the next 5 years. And we actually finished on a question of where do we think Epic Cash is going to be on coin market cap in 5 years? And I think I was actually the most, if you would like to call it negative, I certainly wouldn't, but I thought Bitcoin would still be at the top in 5 years, but in 10 years, Epic Cash would be number one. But I was actually eclipsed by everybody else joining onto the call because they all thought that between 3 to 5 years, Epic Cash would
Mm-hmm.
be number one. And so that actually achieved 370 views. So we did, about 3 to 4 times as much as episode 1, which was fantastic. And then that led into episode 3 with obviously Max. Everybody knows who Max is if you're in the community. Max Freeman, founder of Epic Cash. He presented to us the Epic, the ECR, and the EUSD ecosystem with obviously a chat around E1 and Mimblewimble as well. And when it got to 1,000 replays, it was a little bit like, wow, like in 3 weeks, like this isn't because of me, this is because of the community that's driving it forward. And the fact that we could get to that amount was, again, to other people listening in who are very big projects, it will sound a little bit funny to them, but for us, for me, to achieve that together as a community was brilliant.
It's amazing. I've been doing this a long time, and I have just a few videos that have gotten over 1,000. That's amazing in 3 weeks. I mean, just astonishing. And the fact that you are covering a very important space for new people to find us is really, really important. I think we are very, very strong in Telegram, obviously. I believe we are painfully weak in Discord. So shout out to any of you Discord folks out there who would like to put an oar in the water. Speaking of oar in the water, I want to show you a picture that I came up with. Let me share my screen, because the other day before I do this, let me put some context out there. Okay. So we have a lot of people coming into our Telegram chats that are wanting to basically pitch their product or service, and they want to raise us to raise money to fund them, right? And that's kind of cool, sure, but when you are a fair launch coin project like us, so We will never be tapped on the shoulder by the SEC and be declared a security. It's community driven. So that means any project is going to be funded by the community. And Yoga Dude, many of you guys know and love Yoga Dude in our chats. He can be a pretty pragmatic, succinct dude. And I'll never forget the Telegram post, when he's like, here's how you do it. You acquire Epic Cash and you put your oar in the water and you row. That's how you increase your wealth, or that's how you.
Really good, isn't it? That's exactly what you need to do. Absolutely. Get an oar in the water.
Yeah. So that gave me the idea to be able to, I'm like, I just can't wait to use this. I want to zap someone. And so I'm in the sausage making mode. So I'm sharing with you, Jim, how my brain works. So I took that. I'm like, that's brilliant, Yoga. It's, because Max always says, put an oar in the water. Right. And Yoga just kind of very succinctly pivoted that, when you come into this community, I'll just give you the cheat sheet. This is how you do it. And so I thought there's so many people too in the community, in any community, that come in saying, you should do that. Why don't we do this? All of this stuff, right? Or somebody that might judge something somebody else has done that could have been done better or differently. So it just came to me, the next time someone does something like that and I notice, I'm going to say, excuse me, but I just noticed that that your oar is not wet. And which implies what? Let me show you. You got a dude who's just being a freeloader on the rest of the community. We got a couple here. This is the biggest ankle biter, screaming at the top of his lungs, saying, you guys should do that or this. And this guy back there is cheering them on, saying, yeah, they should do that. Meanwhile, you got everybody else with their oars wet. So I am taking this. I'm going to work with Monkman or somebody, but in community, please DM me if you can find. I'm looking for that perfect shot of just like this one, pretty much, except everybody has their oar in the water, except one person who I was hoping to find one just kind of, crossing their arms. And I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. So sorry for that digression there, my friend.
No, I enjoyed it. That's fine. Absolutely.
But yeah, so congratulations on Twitter Spaces. How can people find them, get notified by them, set their alarm clock to it? Do you do it like just here and there, or do you have a set time? Tell us about it.
No, so with Twitter Spaces, it's the show is hosted every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, every single Saturday. So for anybody who's listening in, come and join us. You're more than welcome to listen, and obviously to give your own thoughts on the subject and topics of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But when I post it, the Twitter Spaces allows you to set a reminder. So it will send you a notification on Twitter to say, look, you scheduled this time to join this Twitter Spaces. And it's it's not difficult to forget if you don't check your notifications. But if you are in touch with Twitter, if you check your notifications regularly, you'll get a pop-up and you'll get a reminder, and then you can join on. So it's actually very simple.
I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the top one?
I can, yes.
What does it say?
1:45 p.m.
And what's it say? What day?
I can't see that, unfortunately.
It says Saturday.
Oh, yeah, every Saturday. I kind of assume, based on the time, I kind of put 2 and 2 together. But that's perfect.
So that's how I do it, guys. Not that hard. I live and die by my my calendar and my alarm clock. If an alarm goes off, I'm like Pavlovian. I'm like, oh, let me check my calendar. And there it is, just says Twitter Spaces. So that tells me it's time. And I think I've been on 2 or 3 of them. Didn't get the first couple because I really didn't know anything about it, but I've really enjoyed them. And you do an amazing job hosting. As a matter of fact, people love your voice so much. Everybody knows that Max is in the sausage making process of the DNA of Bitcoin book and his podcast series. He has 4 podcasts done, edited in the book. I think today was a 5th. So he's going to get his first 6 done very, very quickly. Like, I think by the end of next week. And Max wanted to do an intro to the show, and he did. He recorded, "Hi, this is Max Freeman. Let me tell you about the DNA of Bitcoin podcast," and he circulated it to a group of us. I think I listened to it the day after I got out of surgery, and my comments were pretty terse.
I would say.
You read it, didn't you?
I did, yes. It was honest.
I was very honest, and I said, that really sucks. I said, nobody likes to be read to. I said, we need, you need to have some vocal inflection and I don't know what it is. And I see it all over the place out there, like Pomp, who has the, most probably highest followed podcast in all of crypto. And when Pomp is doing his interviews, he is just amazing. I mean, I love listening to him and his voice, but then he does these like 10-minute little segments because he feels compelled that he has to post something every day. And so what he'll do is either write it himself or have somebody else write an article, and then he reads it. And his reading really sucks. I cannot, Pomp, if you're listening, hire it out. Just suck it up, fall on your ego. And it doesn't have to be your voice, or go to some vocal training classes. I don't know, but it sucks. I don't like how you read. And I kind of had that same tone with Max because I had Pomp in my brain. And so, as we discussed it, one of the guys in the group said, who has an amazing voice? Jam. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. I mean, inside my head, you could hear. So you nailed it. Oops, I don't need to do it a third time. So what happened next, Jam?
Well, okay, so I got a bit of an invite, let's just say, and a chat from you as well, a DM. And let's just say it was quite high urgency. And so I was running around Buenos Aires looking for a good enough studio. And I happened to find a studio that actually did a live stream for an Argentinian project called Lemon Cash. You can probably Google it. If those who are interested, you'll be able to find it. And so I thought, right, this is a professional setup. They've had involvement with cryptocurrency projects and streams, and they had all the professional equipment I need. So voila, Bob's your uncle. Let me go there and do it. Organized for me to attend the studio at 11 o'clock at night when the sound engineer was available. And just my first time jumping into a professional studio, but just hopped on and did my best, like we keep referring to, just getting an oar in the water.
Getting an oar in the water, being fearless, starting ugly, all of those cliches, but you have embodied every bit of it. And I'm really, I'm really proud to be a fellow community member with you. And can I ask you probably the most important question, just to see if you're up to my pay grade? But for Twitter Spaces and to go, do the audio recording in the middle of the night in Buenos Aires after chasing down, somebody who could do it. You were highly paid for that, right?
No, no, of course not. But that's not how we do things in Epic Cash. Absolutely not.
Exactly. I just want people to know that. And you've heard me say it a lot of times. We love people who lead with their chins versus their handout. So if you're somebody out there who has talents, start ugly. If you're somebody out there who's like hanging around in Discord all the time, right? If you're a Discordian, if you're really good at that, we're weak in that area. 321 hashtag LFG, man. Let's go. Do it. Lean in. Lean in. And that's what I love. I mean, the people that are in the community now and the names that you see all of the time, these guys and gals, my goodness, we have amazing women within Epic, are they're just all community members, and it's how we roll. You know, nobody does anything with expectation of anything in return. And when you do see asks, especially when it comes from someone like Batuan and others, where they have really proven that if you support them financially with some Epic, they deliver in spades, man. They go out and evangelize and they put the work in. They're not doing it to create a living for themselves. They're doing it to be able to spread the gospel according to Epic Cash. And in doing so, they know that that is an investment in their own bag of Epic. And the smart people out there are the ones who get that, who, as Yoga says, you want to know the cheat code? Acquire Epic, figure out how to put an oar in the water, and row. And that's Jam. That's what you've done. And by the way, you know, from a quality standpoint, we were on before, and you were kind of going from room to room. And I think you sound pretty good now, but for a while there, you sounded like you're in the bathroom. We're trying to figure it out. And then you made the really, really good point. What do you expect from someone who is backpacking through South America? It's not like you can bring your studio with you.
I do what I can. I've got a laptop, and I've got a dodgy pair of headphones that I don't really want to lose so quickly. So hopefully one of those two works very well.
Yeah. No, well, you sound great. Let me I haven't even checked. Oh, it looks like we have a good group. We have Jeff Chapman, of course, Mother Trucker. Howdy, Mother Trucker. We have 11 watching, 10 likes. Let me make that 11. Batuan, hi. Epic Cash Turkey. Hey, do you know what? Check this out, man. You want something to be proud of? Let me share my screen. Everybody, this just boggles my mind. And let me do something here because I want to make sure I get my facts straight. Yep. Okay, here we go. My facts are going to be straight. Guess what this is? That is the Epic Cash GUI Wallet 4.0. And you know what? A community member did this for you and for me. A little tutorial how to take Pool Boy's Epic Cash GUI wallet and just look at how wonderful this is. How I can't wait. Now that I have this takes away the fear for me, because I can tell it's so well done that this weekend I am going to go through the process so that I will, for the first time, be able to have my Epic Cash off of Vite, which is a great wallet to begin with, but it's really better to be able to have it on the your Epic Cash coins on the native chain versus Epic Cash tokens, which are really kind of an IOU. And, you know, hashtag shit happens. You know, we kind of want to just not be those folks who at some point in time saying, I wish I woulda, I wish I shoulda. So thank you. And I'm sorry, I don't know the name. It's not coming up top of mind. I'm not seeing it anywhere, but this is what I'm talking about, Jam, right? About leading with your chin versus your hand out. This is somebody that knew that there was a need, right? That this GUI wallet that Pool Boy has worked so hard on, and apparently those way smarter than me say it's really freaking awesome. And by the way, the mobile wallet, the Diego wallet, is being released in pre-alpha. I'm looking at my notes from today at a meeting we had today. So it'll be the first step of the journey. And you know how Gmail was in beta for a good while. The Stacks wallet, I believe it's Stack Wallet, which is the Diego wallet, is finally being released this next week to a small group, and then that'll be expanded to a larger group, and everybody's going to be able to get their hands on it in August for sure, guaranteed. And it will have Epic on it. Right now, people can go play with the wallet. But Epic is not in there. There's a few other coins that are. But anyway, I wanted to show this because I'm impressed, and I can't wait. I love these things, and there's so many people in our community who do stuff just like that. There is another thing I wanted to be able to show, which I can't find it right now. Is it Epicentral? Let me look at this. I think it's Epicentral.io.
Whilst you're doing that, Uncle V, I would just like to say that is a prime example of how the community puts their own time, their own efforts into this unique crypto project, this unique community. That is exactly the type of thing that we're all trying to do in order to get what we're trying to get to, which is number one. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
And if we can all do things like that, that's exactly where we're going to be in some point in the not so too distant future.
Well, you know how you get to be to number one? Do you know the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper, is now translated into 44 different languages? Just the white paper. Okay. I'd like to point everyone to epicentral.io and see all of these languages here. I just want to let you know behind these, let's see, check. You've got blockchain protocol. Let's go back here. I just want to let you know that there are 293 PDFs, translated PDFs. That's not just like the Google Translate. These are done with real people who carefully go through each one of Max's, either it's the white paper or mining instructions or whatever, but it is in 55 different languages, 55. The Bitcoin white paper is only in 44. And it's been, what, 12 years, 14 years since 2008? Think about that. Just think about that. This is the community. Guess what? Now, I know because, you're from the UK, that you speak English. But did you know, Jam, that there are a lot of people in this world who don't? I mean, before Epic Cash, I kind of didn't know that. And then what's this Max wasting the time saying, no, we got to find someone in, Humong. Where's Humong? We need this translated into Hindi. Why? Now, this is part of my education. I don't know about you, Jam, but this is the forward vision that Max has and others that, hey, for us to dominate the world and to become, the world's currency, you kind of need everybody else in the world to be able to read about Epic Cash and who we are and our white papers and other important documents. Would you agree, Jam? Did we lose Jam? I think we lost Jam. Well, while we're
Or if we're going to
there you go. We lost you for about 30 seconds. So start over.
Oh, okay. Apologies. So yeah, if we're going to achieve, you know, if you would like to phrase it as worldwide domination of a currency and of money, then it has to be like that. And I'm sure there's more
Yeah.
languages than 56 languages as well. So we need to conquer every single one of them if we possibly can. Now, there will be some traditional languages that will be, of course, very, very difficult to achieve. But if we can get all of the main ones, and I think we're nearly there. If not, we're probably already there. Then yeah, we're doing a tremendous job already. And to think that we're only at a circa 12 million market cap. I mean, can you imagine? It's incredible.
Well, let's just take a look. Speaking of, market cap and how we're doing. This is Yoga pulled this together today. And let's just look at how things have changed over the last 12 months. This is as of today, July 19th. This is as black and white as you can get, sports fans. He took a snapshot 365 days ago of all of these assets, and he looked at the price today. And as everybody knows, that we've been through quite a crypto retrace, crypto winter, crypto bear market, whatever you want to call it. But if you had, $1,000, if you had $1,000 in Bitcoin a year ago, it'd be worth, do that math for me, $730 now. So that would be kind of a melting ice cube, whereas your $1,000 would be worth $2,009 in Epic Cash. So we've more than doubled your money in a crypto winter. If a lot of us who follow Epic Cash or into privacy coins, has been really painful for a lot of us. Your $1,000 would be worth 300. Rooting for you are, but what are your thoughts on this? And can you imagine how crazy it would have been if we wouldn't have? I mean, this is impressive, but there was a point in time to where we got up to $6.85, and then there was a wicked retrace on our part, and that's another story for another day that we've told lots of time. There was one reason for it, so it happened, but it didn't have to happen. We could be trading over $10 right now, and this chart would just be silly and stupid. But are you in this Jam for when moon?
Well, I think that it's only going to go in one direction in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
And when it does pump, it's not if, it's when. It's not a case of me selling all of my coins and getting out of the project because I've made a quick buck.
Mm-hmm.
I am in for the long term because I see the potential in this truly changing the world. And that's kind of sounds crazy. Even when I say it to myself, it sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see the background of the ecosystem that's being built, we did obviously the Max Presents Epic ETI, USD, and E1.
Yeah.
And when that kind of touches on the surface, but when you really start digging deep into what's going on behind the scenes, the wallets, the E1 funding, and what we're going to be doing with that, EUSD. I know Max posted something in the chat the other day about EUSD cards and the potential for them to be distributed to 900,000 stores or something along those lines.
That's right.
And there's some other bits and bobs that are going on behind the scenes that obviously can't be made public for now. It's just incredible. So in terms of me being in this for the long term, the idea with me, the ideology of banking the unbanked and changing the financial ecosystem with how it runs with the Federal Reserve and with inflation rocketing as we see now, all of these factors amalgamate together into Epic Cash being able to deliver what no other project I see can deliver. And that's why I'm in this for
Mhm.
multiple years, not just 6 months, multiple years.
Hey, let me just this kind of came to me this week. Just thinking about inflation. And inflation, I believe the right number, and I think everybody watching this would agree with me, is closer to 15% than 10%, which, they're trying to say it's like 9.8%. But I think it's closer to 15%. You see it everywhere. You see it at the gas station. You see it when you go shopping, et cetera. So I'd like people to think of, a stack of, let's just call it a stack of $1 bills, and you have 1,000 of them, right? Just to make the stack seem bigger. When you have 15% inflation, basically in 1 year, that stack is going down by $151 bills. So basically it's just like that $150, poof, be gone. You're left with $850. That's 15% inflation. So the question is when inflation is at these levels, 15%, where are you and your money going to go? Or are you just going to witness it, sit back, stand back, and just say, you know what? My ore is dry. I don't need to put it in the water. I don't need to research cryptocurrency. What do you mean? I mean, I've heard horror stories about that, right? But when inflation is 15% and we're teetering on hyperinflation, it's time to get serious, because that 15% could easily be 30%, could easily be 50%. So if your cash is on the sidelines, or if it is in assets that are are heading south, all I personally ask of you is take a deep dive into Epic Cash. It is an appreciating asset. During this crypto winter, I just showed you the chart that backs that up, but you haven't seen anything yet. This is a really,
Uncle V,
yeah,
if you wouldn't mind me jumping in on that,
please.
because obviously me being in Argentina, I see it a lot more in terms of the reflection of currency conversions and the price of goods, etc., etc. But in terms of just inflation, and I'm without sounding like a complete know-it-all, because I'm not, but I'm not sure too many people understand how the calculation of CPI inflation works, for example. It's a basket of goods, and what you can do is manipulate what goods are included in that basket, and therefore manipulate the inflation percentage that you report on. So
Mm-hmm.
you can actually change that. And so you mentioned, I think 9.8% you mentioned, and you said more like 15. Yeah, it is probably more like 15, if not more, because
Mm-hmm.
you can change the products that are being inflated less, and then suddenly stick those in the basket of goods, and voila, you can publish
Right.
a reduced CPI inflation rate.
Well, can you tell us the story? You were, I think, on this last Twitter Spaces, you had mentioned something about when you landed in South America, the exchange rate was X, but then it's Y now or something. I can't remember what you'd said, but you had a real life use case, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Argentina, we landed on, I think, May 24th, and the rate against the pound, I'm not sure against the dollar, but against the pound was 265 Argentinian pesos.
Okay.
And the last time I checked, because you have to take out money a different way here, I won't go into that. It's a story for another day. The rate was 345. And so you're taking a step back and you're thinking, okay, this is okay for me from a selfish perspective, but what about the Argentinians who have to pay for their food, for their utility bills, for their rent, for everything you can think of?
So
It's
basically,
crazy.
what you just shared is your buying power with pounds increased, right? But that was at the
Correct.
expense of the Argentinian. You know what I mean? Argentinians.
Correct. They lost about 30% in just less than 2 months, which is insane. It's absolutely insane.
You know, but the good news is, like with all of us, when you experience that kind of loss in buying power, we know that we can just ask our boss for a raise and they're good for it. Yeah.
Well, that's how it works. Do you know how the world works?
Yeah. That's how it works, everyone. I know my all I have to do is ring my boss, and he's like, "Oh, you need another 30% raise?" Sure, sure. No, that's not how it works, is it? And so our incomes aren't keeping up with inflation, but an asset that is, it's kicking its butt actually, is Epic Cash. I'm going to give you a little inside baseball here. This is one of those things that I feel comfortable sharing it because I'm going to keep names confidential, or the family's name confidential. But at the Freedom Fest conference that Max went to, and Captain Bai and his daughter, Becky Boo, and Josh, there were several that were there. Sorry if I left anybody out. Harmon was there, and there was this family, multi-generational family, that came to the booth, like 25 people. And Max hadn't gotten there yet, but Tom was there, Captain Bai, and they were like, "Financial freedom for the masses. Tell us about that." Now, long story, tolerable. I'm not going to go into the details here. But what started with that flashpoint of a conversation ended up with a meeting with Max, which ended up with a dinner of about 40 people, which ended up as a brunch the next day, all talking Epic Cash, the ecosystem, everything. This family is so huge and so powerful in the industry that they are in, that there is a patriarch, and I don't know if it's his son or who, but was just like, I don't know if it was dad or an uncle. Let's just, because it's my show, let's just say it was his uncle. And he said, "Uncle, we've been searching for a decade." And that was the conversation. They just kept trying to hammer everything. And like Max does, there isn't a question you could ever ask that he won't have an intelligent answer for, or he can't pull out a freaking white paper on, or he can't say, "Oh yeah, that's the bored out carburetor with the dual quadrabustion system that we have in development over here. I need to hook you up with alpha eyes." So they were like, "Oh, whoa." So those conversations with this. So when you talk about E1, right, we know there's financial funds needed for that. This could be the solution. And it's interesting. It's like, well, what else does your ecosystem need? Well, really not much. We'd like help with E1, but really what we'd rather you do is go buy a big ass bag of Epic and put your oar in the water. That's what we're talking about here. Can you imagine somebody coming in with $1 million over a 30, 45, 60-day period, to be able to secure their position in Epic Cash, and at the same time being able to, help operationalize E1, which would be like the biggest game changer? That's the conversation that was had over the weekend. And, this isn't a junior varsity team that has been waiting a decade. They went to a freedom conference to try to find a cryptocurrency. Can you believe that? They forgot more about XMR and Pirate Chain than most everybody knows. So they didn't know about Epic Cash. So the only thing in between us and worldwide dominance, or let's call it awareness, right, is that word, awareness. People don't know we exist. We are an undiscovered treasure. And the more people, I can't wait for you guys all to listen to this interview that Max had with Mark Cuban. I mean, my gosh, Max impressed the heck out of Mark Cuban, you know? So you all have heard it. You know, I try to bring it to you every week, a little, a little bit of breadcrumbs every week, a couple times a week to be able to keep you informed. But I'm just telling you, man, we are in the right asset. And if you aren't jazzed, if you aren't excited, if you aren't invested, that's on you, man. That's on you. Don't be that guy or that gal who is like, I think it's going to go back down to 50 cents at some point in time. We broke through $1 again today. For me, it's like, woo, we broke through $1. That's great. But I remember when it was 6.85 and it was just taking off like that. And guess what? It's going to go there again, except it's going to just slam past $10. We start getting that real money coming into here, your head's going to spin. But that's the attention that we're starting to get now. So that was my little, peek behind the curtain. But it's a very, very real peek. I feel in integrity because I didn't tell the family name, but it is a big family that carries a big stick. What do you think of that, Jam?
Well, I mean, I've been privy to that conversation, a very small amount of it, and it's well, you mentioned mooned earlier, Uncle, and that's just moon time. Let's just say that it's just moon time.
Yeah, and there's a difference, isn't there, Jam, between shilling and informing?
Absolutely, there absolutely is. I have been in a number of projects, telegrams and discords back in the day of the 2017 and 2018 ICO days, where that was pure shill, pure telegram manipulated and Twitter manipulated to get the VCs the best price they could possibly get and then dump on the regular investors. And there is a community driven approach that Epic Cash has that, without question in my mind, takes longer, as we all know.
Yes.
But we also know that it builds this tremendous solid foundation and that's demonstrated in that price update that I think Yoga does every day, or McMurphy.
It is.
I'm not sure who does it.
Yoga does this one. Yeah.
They do a tremendous job of that, but that just demonstrates it in there. You can see how the price reflects, and you can see, even though the market cap is so small and people may simply dismiss it because of that, if you actually look at the very small altcoins around our same market cap, I would put a fair amount of money on those coins actually being dead by now. Their communities,
that's so good. What a great point. What a great point. Anybody out there wanting to do a little homework, please do go try to find projects that are in the 10 million range, and let's do that comparison. That is such a great point. And I want to just share another thing. You guys know that every Wednesday, which is tomorrow, we go through the quest for superior money. Now, tomorrow happens to be the last episode of this specific interactive worksheet, to where we have, it looks like 4 X's and 2 checks to be able to go through with Max and Todd Lewis, chief engineer, lead developer. But I want to bring your attention to this column here: Federal Reserve digital credits. And I will tell you, if there's anything, Jam, that keeps me up at night, that scares the holy crap out of me, is if the Druid Babylonian bastards, the controllers, the network, if they win with these CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And I want to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you a little story. Actually, I'm going to read to you guys a bedtime story right now that I think you will appreciate. Let me just find it here. Let me come up here. Why am I not seeing it? Let me stop share. and try this again. I'm sorry, it's going to be worth it, but you get what you pay for. And if you want a refund, hey, email me, email my assistant. Okay, here we go. Monetary systems and the future. I'm going to read this to you because I think it's really important. And if you think this is fantasy that I'm going to read to you, I'll bet you 1,000 epic right now that this is actually going to materialize. Oh, I would say in the next, let's call it within 24 months. Now, I don't know if it's going to be America, but it'll sure as hell be somewhere. But let's just think about this. A short story about your future. John has finished his night shift as a security guard in some international corporation and went straight to the convenience store to buy something sweet for his granddaughter. It was the day of her 5th birthday party to which John was invited. He was looking for something extraordinary when he finally saw a gigantic box with various sweets inside. The moment John saw it, he knew it would be ideal for a gift. Having checked his account promptly, John saw that he had enough money to live till the next payment, so he decided to make the purchase. John took the enormous jar and went to make the purchase. The payment had been declined. John was a little shocked by this message. However, with all those technical novelties, it is clear that mistakes happen, aren't they? So John made this second attempt. The payment has been declined. To access more information, please check your personal profile. How come John cannot make the purchase if he has sufficient funds in his account, you might think? The situation seems illogical. Something must have happened to his payment card. It's the only sensible reason. John took the smartphone out of his pocket and he checked his profile. A new message was waiting in his information box, along with a bright red notice saying the payment has been declined due to personal limitations. How can I be limited by this stupid profiling system they just introduced 2 months ago? It is something for those teenagers out there, but not for me, an old chap. Nevertheless, John read the message, read it while standing there in disbelief. He was not even angry, not even sad. He just stood there, empty, helpless, outplayed by the world and society to which he devoted his entire life. He did not go to his granddaughter's birthday as he was too ashamed to go without a gift, and he did not have enough time to search for something else. John headed home to his old armchair, the last thing that reminded him of the past times he used to live in. The message on his personal profile was as follows: citizen number L3789B4 John Smith. Due to health problems caused by diabetes, it is highly advised not to accept any purchases of sweets, food containing a high level of sugar, and any alcoholic beverages until further notice. Dr. Samuel Thoris, society needs you healthy, John Smith. You will accomplish great things in the bright future that will come with your hard work and effort. We care about you. This message has been sent automatically as a reminder. Game over, you lose. So what do you think, Jam? Do you think that's pure fantasy, or do you think these digital currencies are intended to be programmable, where they can take your social profile, and if you've eaten too much meat for the month, your third meat purchase gets declined? Do you think that'll ever happen, or could ever happen?
I think I caught that. I think my connection's let me down a little bit here, but I think I caught that. Could it happen?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not just $1 million question. That's a multi-billion-dollar question.
Very good. Yeah.
I think there's the potential for that to happen, and it's scary. It's a very scary thought.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, I wouldn't even like to predict that, but it's a very scary thought.
Well, but that's where we're heading. If you do not think that's where we're heading, you are not paying attention. You know, the controllers, as Carol Quigley calls them, or no, the network, I'm sorry, as Carol Quigley in Tragedy and Hope calls them, is a real thing. And they are not our allies, they are not our friends. So what we are attempting to do, and we'll just kind of I'll wrap this up and then give you the last word. But what we are attempting to do is the only way that we win. And let me say that a different way. The only way we don't lose is to not use the network's money. So if not anything else, you know, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, peace be upon it, you know, that's our godfather, right? Of all of cryptocurrency. And I still maintain the best way to articulate what is Epic Cash is if Satoshi Nakamoto could you know get into the future machine and go to today and take a look at the history since he launched Bitcoin in 2008. If he had access to today's technology and could go in the Wayback Machine and then do a redo and modify the technology to accommodate for today's tech, would the design be different? It absolutely would be different, and it would be Epic Cash. We are, I know people hate hearing this, but Bitcoin perfected to the extent it can be perfected with today's technology that allows for private transactions and a very, very light blockchain, making scalability and fungibility able to happen with 100% confidence. So we are that alternative system to what the Druid Babylonian bastards are trying to create with these programmable monies. And so you can play ostrich, put your head in the sand, watch your stack of dollar bills melt by 15% every year until you have nothing and be happy, I guess. Or you can come in t.me/Epic Cash and join the community and just start listening, start learning. And maybe you either mine it, you could earn it, or you could buy it. Those are the three ways you acquire Epic Cash. And then once you have your little bag, look yourself in the mirror and say, what talents do I possess that might give me a wet oar so that I can put my oar in the water and row in the same direction as the rest of the community? That's what this is all about. This is a competition, you know, and I believe, Jam, that we're in it to win it and that we have everything that we need to win it. And it just boggles my mind that today you could buy one Bitcoin for $23,000 or you could get 23,000 Epic Cash and we're the better tech. What say you? He says they programmed his minutes on his computer and it won't let him talk.
I'm still with you if you can hear me.
You are. See, that's what the CBDCs do. They
Well, I think if we're rounding this off, if somebody out there who's tuning into this show today, if they can show me a project that is truly fungible, truly private, if someone can show me another project that solves the blockchain trilemma of security, of scalability, and of decentralization, the way Epic Cash does with Mimblewimble and its tech, if somebody can show me the strength of the community, no VCs, no worries about being a security, no one tapping us on the shoulder in the near future, if somebody can show me the investment potential that Epic Cash has of doing a 10,000x and more in the next 5 years, just drop me a message. Uncle V just showed you my Twitter. I guarantee nobody will be messaging me anytime soon. It doesn't exist. Come and join the Epic Cash Telegram. come and ask questions. Come and listen to Uncle V's YouTube. Come and check out everybody else and ask questions, learn about the project and read the white paper. And it's not financial advice, of course, but I can be very confident in saying that you won't regret researching Epic Cash.
And if you want to go down the student path, certainly t.me/epic cash is the lobby, if you will. Come in there and we'll help you get to where you want to go, whatever your interests are. But you also want to join t.me/FreemanU, FREEMANU, not YOU, but you. And Max is a teacher in there. There are several others in there, but you really get into the weeds on the future of money, the history of money, blockchain technology. You can just sit back there and be a voyeur and just learn. And what will happen is, they say momentum breeds momentum. Well, confidence breeds confidence too. And you become more and more confident once you start understanding the language. And let's face it, this world of blockchain technology is like learning a new language. Absolutely. Would you agree with that, Jam?
Yes, of course. I mean, ever since I started in this project, all I've been doing is learning. And I was introduced first to Epic Cash in November 2020, and unfortunately didn't do a deep dive quick enough. It took me a few months to do it. And I've been involved in the community from a distance for a while, and now obviously I'm putting a few more oars in, let's just say.
Yeah.
And I'm learning every day about the project and the tech. And that comes from, every time that Max seems to get on a podcast or Twitter Spaces or, another SGT report, there seems to be at least 3, 4, 5 things that I seem to pick up and learn. So long may that continue. I'm sure that won't stop anytime soon.
Well, look, I'm just a little disappointed about one thing related to you, Jam. So if you just got involved in 2020 and really didn't start putting your oar in the water until you're backpacking across South America with your wife, what the hell took you so long? Why didn't you just start backpacking like in December of 2020, huh? You got to look yourself in the mirror and ask that question. And I hope you feel guilty. But what's better than Uncle V and Jam? I don't think much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. We have been threatening, you and I, to do this show, and I'm really, hey, love you, Ab, the fakeologist out there, but I'm really glad you couldn't make it tonight, because this was kind of the interview that I think should have happened first, or not interview, discussion. I mean, you're just a pleasure to talk with. You're a wealth full of knowledge yourself, and are really, really good for the community. And damn, you give good voice.
I appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on the show, and hopefully we can do this again at some point very soon.
100%. You will be a repeat guest for sure. Everyone in the chat, thank you. Haven't been really paying attention, but I think you all are epic and you're awesome, and I love you. And we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. It's the final throwdown between Max and Todd Lewis, so it'll be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to wrapping it up, because I can't wait to get that interactive document edited and in the community's hands so that you guys can use it to your advantage and benefit in educating others. All right, with that.